Welcome to Betting Weekly Premier League show. You're with Dan Roebuck alongside me, Nigel Seeley and Jack Wright. Nigel, do we have a title race once again? Are Arsenal wobbling a little bit? The odds have tightened up a little bit. Arsenal minus 155 now. City plus 175. What do we think?
Well, good morning to you, first of all. How are you? It's a title race, isn't it? Yeah, Arsenal and Man City going head-to-head. I think we've always had a title race, haven't we?
I don't know. Speak to some Arsenal fans and the title was won a month ago.
Yeah, I think there's going to be squeaky bum time at some stage. Arsenal always got their injuries, which they have defensively now. They've got players coming back, but Man City have that man, Haaland scoring goals, Foden coming back to form. One of the best goalkeepers in the world, a manager who's seen it, done it, bought the T-shirt. So yes, we have a title race. And don't rule out Aston Villa. A lot of people on this show who watch the show are big Aston Villa fans. They're doing exceptionally well. Crystal Palace up to fourth. Shock there. I'm not saying that those two are going to last a distance, but yes, we have a Premier League title race.
Yeah, there are a few Villa fans in the chat, stateside and English-based, that always get in touch. Let us know if you think that your team are in the title race. Jack, are Villa in the title race? They're plus 2,800 here. Just for top four, plus 150.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. Well, with the amount of Villa fans watching this, of course they're in the title race. Yes, I'm going to play to the crowd. But no, I think seriously speaking, they've got an absolutely exceptional manager who has, from the start they've had, done incredibly well to get them up to where they are. That home form has been consistent now for the last 2 or 3 seasons. That's going to take them a long way. If they can keep the consistency going on the road, then absolutely they're in with a chance. I think that they will get a top 4 spot because of that home form as much as anything else. And they've shown it previous seasons as well. They can beat the best on home soil, so they can take points off those other sides around the top 4, 5, 6. So that's crucial as well in the mini league there to who's going to finish in that top 4. And they've been very, very consistent. So yes, they're in with a chance at a big price.
P&L on screen of the boys so far this season. Let's hope we can cash some tickets over the course of this Premier League weekend. We're going to start this week with the North East Derby, the Time Weird Derby, or the Weird Time Derby as it is for this particular fixture, because Sunderland are at home for this one against Newcastle. Newcastle are the favourites here, Nigel, plus 114. It's the first top-flight derby between the two for a decade. They did meet in the FA Cup a couple of years ago. This is a very different Sunderland side, as we know, and they are one of 2 teams still unbeaten at home here. So I don't know if all that is factored into the price, because Sunderland at plus 240, or at least getting with Sunderland somehow, seems to be a way to go. And for those watching from the States, you might want to explain just how big a deal this is in the northeast of England.
Well, as you can tell by my accent, I've got a very, very historic history in the northeast of England. But I mean, the best place to do it is to subscribe to our Insider this week, because Paul Hughes, who is from Newcastle, has explained exactly why this is important. He's a big Newcastle fan. Explains exactly why it's important, the passion involved in these two clubs, the history between it, and it's a great article if you want to read that. So I would advise you to do that rather than this. It is a feisty one. It's a local derby, as all local derbies are. Obviously, Liverpool, Everton, for your stateside, Manchester United, Manchester City. The London derbies don't really have it, do they? Because there's so many London derbies. Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea have a bit of rivalry with Tottenham, but I think this one is probably the most fierce and ferocious in all of the Premier League and all of English football, actually. So it's a right feisty affair, and whenever these two sides have met previously, it always sort of spills over on the pitch as well. So expect lots of cards, lots of bookings, lots of, an incredible atmosphere. And, this probably for a very, very long time has been the best Sunderland side that's got into this derby in recent history. But surprisingly, despite the Newcastle probably being a lot better than Sunderland in recent years, Sunderland have the big advantage in the Premier League. You mentioned that FA Cup win, which Newcastle did a couple of seasons ago, the big cup competition over here, which is slightly not really relevant. But the Premier League matches between these two sides, in the last 10 meetings, I know they've got to go back a long time, but Newcastle have only won 1 in this fixture. So it's always been a match that Sunderland seem to raise their game for. We know how strong they are at home, unbeaten in all 8 competitions. A crazy match against Arsenal, never give up. The match against Bournemouth, the turnaround to win 3-2, was another feisty, incredible performance. And they need all of those 50-plus thousand fans to make this an absolutely hostile atmosphere for Newcastle, and they will get it. This is going to be tough for Newcastle. Newcastle obviously coming here on the trip to Germany midweek where they drew 2-2. And they played well in that match, actually. And Newcastle have played quite well in recent weeks. Their XG and their data has been pretty good, but this is a different atmosphere, and it's an argument that this is the best Sunderland side that have come in this match for many years. The other thing for Sunderland is this is the last match before the AFCON, and they have a huge amount of players, more players than any other team in Sunderland that go into the AFCON. So they've got to go out of a big win here. And I think they'll put it all in. And I don't think I'll bet them on the money line at plus 240. And, Newcastle looks a little bit of a trap to me at plus 114. I think this is a very, very interesting match. Where I'm going for here? Well, what I've done is I've looked at a couple of prop markets that aren't up yet with Bet Rivers, but there's a couple of angles which I like. The first thing I like here is a penalty in the match. That 3-0 match was a penalty. In the last 10 Premier League matches between these two, there has been 5 penalties awarded. It's going to be a feisty one. It's going to be a ferocious match, and I think tackles will be flying in. If you're looking at penalties, Ashley Gordon scored from a penalty in midweek. Anthony Gordon, scored in a penalty in midweek for Newcastle over in Germany. You might want to look at him to score any time at plus 210 if they get a penalty. Look at the penalty takers. I think this could be a real, just in terms of cards, this could be anything because of that AFCON thing as well. So these players are going to be pumped, get this win, get us a win and get out of it. So I think bookings and I think penalty. And one little bet that I've come across here, and a little angle there's 2 players in the Premier League this week. And I told you earlier, Dan, you didn't sound too excited, but I told Steve Wiss this morning and he sounded very excited. But there is 2 players this week in the Premier League who are currently on 4 bookings who go off to the AFCON. Now, if they go off to the AFCON at the weekend and get their 5th booking, they'll miss the AFCON games, but when they come back, they don't have to serve a suspension. Their slate is wiped clean. And I think there could be an angle to bet those players who are going off on the AFCON to get a booking. And the person who's got 4 bookings is the Congolese midfielder Noah Sadiki. He's on 4 cards. If you can bet him to get a booking individually, I think he could be an angle for you. This is going to be feisty, all on props for me. Wouldn't be involved too much on the money line, but I think a penalty be scored. I would expect the penalty to be given, probably be around about 3-1. Statistically, it's evens. And Sadiki to get a yellow card, if you can get on that market, if Bet Rivers have it in your state, that will where I'll be heading for this one. 2 props, money line looks a bit difficult.
Peter Banks is the referee. He's already given Newcastle a penalty this season, incidentally. Jack, what do you think here? Newcastle just 1 win in their last 7 away from home. They've rotated quite a bit. They did play their first choice in midfield against Leverkusen, but obviously they were pegged back late on. Haven't got a great record when they've played away from home, that trio. What's the angle in for you? Yeah,
we'll just finish on Anthony Gordon there. I think it's 3 successive games with a penalty for him and Newcastle now, and he's scored all 3 of them. He also has been very good in open play, so goals, assists, hit the post as well the other night. So certainly a player there, and I've looked into the data for Sunderland, and they're conceding a lot of shots from their right-hand side, which is his area. So certainly a player to concentrate on if you want a Newcastle angle in. I agree in that Sunderland are going to be absolutely pumped up for this one. I think if this was a game against one of the lower ranked sides in the division, then I'd be less inclined to take them on, but they've had a week's full prep. It doesn't get any bigger for Sunderland and their fans than this particular fixture, and they're taking on a Newcastle side that have struggled on the road, got that win against Everton last time out, of course, which was their first at their 7th attempt in the league. As I said, the tie with Leverkusen last night in the Champions League, but that will take a lot out of them. And their main area where they are so strong and so dominant is the centre of the park. And they've got fitness and injury concerns with all 3 of those players. Tonali got took off at half-time the other week with Guimaraes on the bench, and he came on at half-time. Joe Linton went off after an hour last night. And I think this game will come pretty fast for those to try and get back up to speed again. And so they are such a crucial part of what Newcastle do. So it's a lean, but I would be looking at Sunderland on a plus quarter ball handicap here, plus 0.25 on the Asian handicap. So half the stake on tie no bet in essence, and half the stake on a half goal start. So avoid defeat and we'll bank some kind of profit at minus 105. So that'd be where my lean is, as I say, with that Sunderland strong home record, the fans right behind them, and how quick this has come for Newcastle after that performance midweek. I just think that Sunderland have got it all to put in for this game. And they'll get a bit of leeway from their supporters if they get a positive result here for the next few weeks ahead.
Stuart Atwell, incidentally, is on VAR. He gave 2 penalties in Newcastle's last game. And that yellow card reset that Nigel was talking about is after game week 19, which is January the 1st, so he's spot on. Players going to AFCON are going to buy themselves a suspension that will not affect them. Let's get to Arsenal against Wolves, table toppers against the side at the foot of the standings. And we've got a 2.5 unit play here from Mr. Jack Wright, Esquire here. Arsenal are minus 835. Easy win in Belgium midweek against Club Brugge, but only 2 wins the last 5 in the Premier League. But Wolves were shocking against United. We can guess a little bit where the money's going, Jack, but how?
Yeah, I kind of tossed and turned about which direction to take on this one. It was going to be a pro-Arsenal angle. Would it be goals? Is it the Asian handicap, or settle for Asian handicap? And in the end, my eyes kind of lit up. They were minus 118 initially when the market formed. That went to minus 127 yesterday, and now it's minus 143. I was thinking that minus 140 would probably be where this one might end up, but it could go even bigger than that. But I'm still going at minus 2.5. I started off with 2 units on it. I've gone with 2.5 units on it now. As I said, it's such a confident play, this. I couldn't be more confident that Arsenal are going to win this by at least 2 goals. Reminder to those of you unfamiliar with the Asian handicap, minus 2 means that if the Arsenal win by at least 2 goals, or by 2 goals exactly, you get a full refund on your stake. For a full win here, we need a 3 or bigger goal margin of victory. And I can see Arsenal racking up a hell of a scoreline here. That Wolves performance on Monday night was abysmal. I was speaking to a Wolves fan during that game, a mate of mine who is a Wolves fan, and he just said it's embarrassing watching his side at the moment. They look shot to bits. They don't look like they're anywhere near Premier League standard. The fans came in the ground 15 minutes late. I'm probably thinking that might have been too early for them to arrive. That half of them were already leaving before the end, and the others that were there had the backs turned to the action. Look, I've been with supporting a side that where the crowd are checked out and they've gone past angry. They're just now apathetic about it. They're just not interested in the team. They want the board out. They want the owners out. And that just means that this side has zero confidence. You can see it in them as well. And up against an Arsenal side that, as you look at the because we win, power rankings are at the top of that, and the best side in Europe, the best side in the world. Superb defence, and have coped even with that wholesale changes at the back. Yes, they're conceding chances, which is why they've got a fantastic goalkeeper in David Raya there, who is keeping those chances out. We saw that last night in that 3-0 win over Brugge. But look at the forward line, and that's where this one's at for me. I just think they've got the firepower. Gyökeres, we talked about him at the top of the season, that he is going to be a stat padder. He will look to score goals against the weaker sides. This is his opportunity to shine. He's back in the side. He'll be looking to score goals. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get a couple, 3, maybe even 4 goals against this Wolves side, who are all over the place. Yesterday they rotated. Saka was on the bench. Madueke came on, scored a couple of goals. Eze didn't even feature. He's able to come back into this side. Martinelli scored. He came in. Will Trossard come back? Will he be fit and available? Jesus back from injury. All these players are going to be so hungry, so determined to go and score goals, put on a show, and there's not another game for Arsenal for a week after this one, which is a crucial factor as well. So they're just going to keep going, keep the foot down, and that defeat last week is probably another incentive for them to come and really put on a show against Wolves, put them to the sword. So minus 2, Asian handicap for me, now at minus 143. It's 2.5 units for me. Be honest, I'd probably go for 3, even 4 units, but I didn't want to go too mad at this stage. So yeah, 2.5 units it is on the minus 2 Asian handicap.
Jack's getting his betting bank out here. Nigel, Victor Gyökeres 10-1 to score a hat-trick or 3 or more goals, and round about 3-1 to get 2 or more. I mean, they're still got 1 or 2 defensive issues. Nigel, Saliba, we don't know about. Timber as well. Calafiori is suspended. Gabrielli's definitely out. Likewise, Mosquera. Should Arsenal fans be worried here, or will it be very easy as we all think it should be?
I think you're also missing. There's a doubt for Declan Rice as well, and I think that's the most key factor of the lot. I mean, even all those injuries, you can't make a case for Wolves, can you? Absolutely diabolical. I was looking at the similar kind of way with Jack, but the bet I plump for here, it's not very big on the odds, but minus 190 Arsenal to win to 0. I just think that's an absolute cracking bet. If you like to be betting that kind of price, we're not going to recommend that here, but if you want to put it in a parlay, Arsenal to win to 0 and something else you like in the Premier League to boost it up with Bet Rivers, that would be my way. If you look at Arsenal's this season, they've only conceded 2 goals at home in the Premier League. They've beaten Brentford to 0, Brighton to 0, Palace to 0, Forest to 0, West Ham to 0, Leeds to 0. great record. We know that they're the best team to win and not concede in the Premier League for not only this season, but for the last couple of seasons as well. And Wolves have only scored 1 goal on the road. They've lost 6 and all of them to nil. One of the goal they scored was in a 1-1 draw. 7 matches, 1 goal. Their combined XG in their last 4 matches, Wolves, is under 2. That's their combined XG from an attacking point of view. We also know that they their defence is the worst in the Premier League as well. I just think whatever team Arsenal put out, it's going to be a stroll in the park. Obviously, with Jack's bet, the only worry you have is that they might take their foot off the gas. That's your only worry. They're going to win. But sometimes when teams get to the luxury of going 2 up, they might relax a little bit. That would be a little bit of concern. But other than that, you would expect an Arsenal very comprehensive win. They put out a reserve side, or a lot of reserves last night. Won 3-0. Madueke was the star of the show. He'll probably keep his place here. Gyökeres, he's a flat track bully. This could be 3-4-0 Arsenal, that's what I think. And I think the win to nil at -190 is a cracking bet. But I'm not putting up -190 shots on this show. We need to get that profit back. And but if you want to put it in a parlay, or if you like betting your odds on, you like your heavy minus money, that to me looks a cracking wager.
Quiz? Return of the quiz. Why not? 110 games. 110 games. A Christmas quiz. 110 games since Arsenal last conceded more than 2 goals in a match. Who was the coach of the team that scored more than 2 goals against them?
Rob Edwards against Luton.
Correct. Get in there. Nigel Seeley, 1 point. So that's are we saying over 2.5 goals for Wolves team total?
No.
Liverpool, Brighton. Next, Liverpool are -150. This is Saturday, 10 a.m. Brighton are +360 here. Nigel, got to talk about Salah first and foremost. I mean, look, these prices change all the time, but I have seen -200 still to be a Liverpool player after AFCON, and +125 any Saudi club. I mean, that's got to be out of date. Surely he's got no future at Anfield. What do you think?
Well, I think when you're a manager and you get one person that sort of ruffles feathers, I think you've got to make a decision and get rid of him or keep him on. You know what I mean? I think that's what you've got to do. I got a feeling here that I can't see Salah.
What would you do, Nigel, in charge if you had someone like this? What would you do?
Get rid of him straight away, no problem. But I think they're a better team without him. I genuinely do. I mean, you ask Liverpool fans. One of my best friends is a guy called Derek McGovern, who's a very, very passionate Liverpool fan. He was the sports editor of the Daily Mirror. He's the sports editor of the Racing Post, the biggest newspaper here, and he's been a good friend of mine. And he's been sort of, even though Salah was scoring all the goals, he was critical of his performance. He thought the biggest blow for Liverpool at the time was who was the other one who played up front? Firmino, Salah, and who was the other one?
Diaz.
No. Sane. Yep. So he thought he was the blow for them. He was the star, and Salah got the goals.
Mane.
But his efforts this season have just been awful, and he doesn't deserve to be in the team. Let alone he's sulking. I mean, he's thrown his toys out the pram, and he's come up a cropper here. And I think that the Liverpool team have backed the manager rather than the player here. And it worked against Inter Milan. They were galvanised. They put in a good performance, kept the clean sheet, which was really important. And I think Liverpool will be better without him. What price for Liverpool last season in this match? -220, I don't know, something like that, I'm guessing. But -150, the market hasn't really moved as much as I thought. I thought you might get Liverpool at -120 here, and I would have bet them. But -150, I still think Liverpool will be okay. The big problems with Liverpool is conceding goals. If they can keep the goals out, then they've got a good chance. But this match has a history of goals, and I actually going for goals in this match. 7 of the last 8 both teams have scored has been yes. 9 of the last 10 over 2.5 goals. But the line is 3.5 on the goals. Both teams have scored yes is -195. There's been a couple of 2-2s, a couple of 3-3s in this one. So it's historically a game with goals. I'd expect goals. I think Liverpool will do better without Salah. I'd be amazed if he's a Liverpool player. I think he's got his heart set on going to the Saudi League after the AFCON. I think that might be done when he's out there. And I think this will be his last match. If he starts, I don't know if he's going to play, but I think it'd be a popular bet to score the last goal maybe, and then or get a standing ovation if he. But I think once you've said those kind of things about the manager, I think there's no way back. And you've got players, Ekitike, Isaac, who are capable of doing great things, and I think Liverpool era Salah have gone, but I think their short-term success will be better without him. Just one other player, the other player who is on 4 bookings and needs a 5th booking to avoid that, to get that scrapped, is Carlos Albalibar here in this match for Brighton. So if you want to look for a booking anytime card, Carlos Balibar is the man from Cameroon who could be a booking this much. But I think Liverpool will bounce back. I wouldn't bet them at -150, but I do fancy goals. But I think Liverpool short term might be on the road to better things.
Yeah, agree with that. There were -$3 for this game last season. So, there's going to be a lot of people tempted in by Liverpool -150. And they have, Jack, won the XG battle in the last 6 games, but have only won 2 of those games. So, look, I don't think they're playing as bad as people make out. Salah's been dropped, rightly so. Are we on the Liverpool train here, Mr. Wright?
I've put them up as a lean here, on the -0.75 Asian handicap at -120. For much of those reasons, really. I do fancy him to win, so I think I'll get a slice of that as profit by any kind of win. So I think, with Liverpool, I watched the brilliant show with Steve Wiss and Will White last night, and it kind of validated what you're then talking about there as far as the expected goals is concerned. We've talked about expected goals a lot. What's it worth? If you've got a side that haven't got goal scorers or strikers that can score goals or team players that can score goals, then it maybe doesn't count for an awful lot. It maybe tells why you aren't winning. But you can't say that the likes of Isak, Ekitike, etc., aren't good enough to go and take those chances eventually. And I think Szoboszlai out on that right-hand side instead of Salah gives them more solidity down that side. He's got a fantastic delivery. We know that from his set pieces and also from open play, and also he's scoring goals. He's also on penalties. If you want to look at him as far as one of the markets of concern, shots on target, goals, etc., then it's worth looking at. I think Conor Bradley being out for this one suspended is a bit of a blow for Liverpool, but I do think they'll have enough to win this one. As I say, I think they've been a little bit kind of unfortunate to have had a poor run as they have, but they've turned it around, and I totally agree the fact that I don't expect Salah to be part of this squad for this game because he's away now on AFCON after that. Why bring him back when the last couple of games, or certainly that game against Inter, with him missing from it, was a much better improved and they look a better unit. So I'm siding with Liverpool on -0.75 Asian handicap.
Very quickly, let's get some leans on the Chelsea-Everton game. Again, 10 a.m. on Saturday. Nigel, Chelsea -159 here, and after making noises about a title tilt, they've gone quiet without a winning 4. What are your thoughts?
Really poor in midweek against Atalanta. I don't think the manager knows his best team. He's got defensive problems. I think if you spoke to a lot of Chelsea fans, it's a 50-50 split whether they like the manager or they don't like the manager. They're asking serious questions about him, his team selection. Big match for Chelsea because up next they've got Newcastle, Aston Villa and Man City in the Premier League. So if they lose this one and then lose those, Marescu could be a big threat. And I think the FA Cup will be his priority this season. Everton have won their last couple of matches. 1-0 against Man United, that terrible match for us. 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. They've won 4 of their last 5 without conceding. And their last 5 Everton road matches have all been under 2.5 goals. No wins in 4 against Chelsea. And Chelsea are unbeaten in this fixture in 36 matches. Last 4 seasons, both teams have scored a no. I'm looking at unders, under 2.5, -103. Both teams have scored no, -110. The last time that Everton won this was in 1994, 26th of November. And top of the charts over here. Let me be your fantasy. And what was top of the charts in America? I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. What bring back the 90s. I'll Make Love to You and let you be your fantasy. What a great week to be alive in 1994.
Excellent. Jack, any lean on this one from you?
Yeah, that was by Baby D, and I'm going for a Baby D here. Dewsbury Hall is going to be my lean on this to score or assist. He wasn't even born when that was number 1. So, it's interesting that Chelsea's record against the top sides this season has been poor. They've only won once against the top 10. That was against Liverpool. Picked up 2 points from 5 games against the top 9. And Everton have snuck up to 7th, haven't they, after that good run of form. So largely part of that has been Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who's done really well. To score or assist, +260 is Moline. 4 goal involvement in 4 of his last 5 Premier League games for Everton, 6 for the season. Joint top goal scorer alongside Ndiaye, who's obviously off to the AFCON as well. He's ranked 2nd for big chances created with 4. And his expected assist of 2.96 is only behind Grealish, and he's got a couple himself this season. So 14 starts. It's really helped him this season because, of course, a former Chelsea player didn't get a look in last season, so he'll have a point to prove as well at Stamford Bridge. Started 14 games. He's averaging 89 minutes, which shows you how long into the games that he's going. So he's getting pretty much the full bang every single time he plays. So yeah, he's my lean here to score or assist at plus 260.
Palace Man City next up here, Sunday 9 a.m. Palace plus 310, Man City minus 121. Palace away in the Conference League tonight in Ireland. They keep on defying those that fade them due to lack of squad depth. Never made more than 2 changes to their Premier League lineup this season, and more than one only 4 times. Can they keep going and get a result here, Nigel, against City?
Well, I've opposed them the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Same
and
here.
it's been much so much. I bet
Same
the thing
here.
is
I'm getting Champions League draw vibes. That was my last season disaster. This is my this season disaster.
Fulham had them on the rack when they went 1-0, and they should have gone 2-1 up. They had that goal that was disallowed, but they were much the better side. In the last 15, 20 minutes, Fulham were awful. But I mean, I don't know. I tell you, who was brilliant though. Adam Wharton was absolutely incredible. What a player this boy is. I think this is going to be tough for Palace though against Man City, a buoyant Man City. But Man City will obviously come back from the Bernabeu here. I've gone back to the well and come back with the obvious bet here, and it's Haaland to score any time. He scored in midweek, didn't he, against Real Madrid? He went for a little bit of a terrible run for him, 3 matches without scoring. What could possibly go? How could he go 3 matches without scoring? But 34 goals in 26 matches, 26 appearances, and scored in 20 separate matches. So 26 starts, 20 times he scored. We've said to you throughout his Premier League career that Haaland should be a minus 150 shot when he goes to the pitch. You know, Dan did the maths on that, and he said the right price is minus 150. Anytime he's bigger than minus 150, we got to bet him. He's minus 134 to score here against the Crystal Palace side. I know Crystal Palace are 4th in the table, and they've been incredible. But I do think, you know, and that Shelbourne match they'll put out a good team of that as well tonight because that's a huge match in England v Ireland clash. Loads of Palace fans I know are going out there looking forward to that match, and it'll be a tough and they'll raise their game against Palace for sure. That won't be as easy as you think. But I think that Palace will find this tough against Man City. This fixture is always a fixture that's produced goals, by the way. And if you look at, and Palace have got a good record, but usually at Man City, when they go to Man City, they usually do well. But when you look at Haaland, I mean, he's minus 134, 20 times he scored in 26 matches, or 20 games he scored out of them, 26, 34 goals. And against Crystal Palace, he's played 4 times in his Premier League career, and he scored 6 goals against Crystal Palace. And you can bet him at minus 134. Probably the most obvious bet of the card. But I'm going to have 1 unit on Haaland score any time at minus 134. And as I say, whenever we talk about these prolific goal scorers, if you want to go for 2, you want to go for 3, they're probably value as well. But I just got a feeling Palace have to run out of legs at some stage.
But you know, even if they don't, I think Haaland to score is the best bet, and especially at those odds. I mean, you know, we talk about minus 50. It might be a little bit even shorter now because Nigel's just rattled off his record this season, which is just unbelievable. I mean, City drew this fixture, Jack, last season, but they were in woeful form. They'd only won something like 1 of the last 8. This time around, they're starting to win games. Okay, you know, some have gone to the wire, but they're winning fixtures and scoring goals. What's your lean here?
Yeah, I'll go on City to win. Simple, this one. Money line minus 121. Great win for them last night. And I
think that's a good price, you know. I think that's a good bet.
Me too. I think that nothing fancy with it. You know, you could even put City to win and Haaland to score together because it's like they likely go hand in hand to even get a better price. But you don't need to do anything fancy. I think both are very, very strong bets. I looked at both. Ended on the side of City to win. I say it was a great result last night. They look so good going forward. Doku, if Munoz is fit, that battle with him and Doku over on that side will be very, very interesting. But they're so strong across that whole front line. And I just think they're in that mood at the moment where they just go, well, we can outscore teams. And I say, but defensively, I thought they put up a decent, strong showing against Real Madrid last night. Decent record against Palace recently, won 4 of the last 7. They're unbeaten in 10 in the league here, won 7 of those. As we've mentioned, Palace play tonight. And when you look at it, Palace have got the best away record, the best road record in the Premier League this season. Won 5, drawn 2, lost 2. Tied 1, drawn, lost 2, if I can get it. 16 points, and that's 2 more than anyone else. But at home, they've only won 2 and tied 4 and lost 1, which is their 15th best record at home in the league this season. So, which is quite unusual for them. We used to them expect them having a strong home record. But I think City, with the extra day's rest as well, I think they'll have a little bit too much, certainly in the strength and depth department and the quality department. I think they'll just edge this one.
We know that stateside players love a same game parlay. This is a mini one. City to win, Haaland to score, plus 140. Could not put anybody off that one if you like a same game parlay. Really popular stateside, as we know. Forest Spurs, couple of quick leans from the boys here. Jack, you're first up. Market's changed a little bit. Spurs have been bet. They're plus 175. It's almost a pick 'em contest, and they've got 2 days on Forest in terms of preparation. Forest in action against Utrecht tonight in the Europa League. Spurs easy winners against Slavia Prague on Tuesday.
Yeah, when I put this forward, it was Tino bet minus 106. That might be slightly different now from what you've now said, but it just feels our Spurs clicking, maybe. Bill, a bit of momentum, 2-0 win against Brentford, decent result, 3-0 against Slavia Prague, as you said, 2 home wins, which is very important for them because they've been so bad at home and they've been better away from home. So, Forest have lost 2 of the last 3 in the league. They've struggled at home a little bit as well. 4 defeats in the last 6, only 1 under Dyche, admittedly, but they've only got 1 win under him as well, which was against Leeds. So, again, as you say, they played tonight, so 2 days less rest, recovery or preparation time. Tough fixture. Spurs are at home as well in their European contest. When you look at the results for Forest after their European fixtures, Matchday 1, they then lost to Sunderland after that. Matchday 2, they then lost to Newcastle. Matchday 3, they then lost to Bournemouth. Matchday 4, they did beat Leeds. Then Matchday 5, they were back to type, lost to Brighton. And they've got 11 players injured or doubtful at the moment and some key ones in there as well. So I just think that Spurs with the momentum, the extra rest, and now Forest normally perform after Europe, I'll take them on a Tino bet at minus 106.
Yeah, I like that play. You mentioned those injured players. I know there's 1 or 2 that have been pictured in training this week, but the fact that they go Thursday, Sunday, Sean Dyche has got to have to manage that group fairly cleverly and maybe sparingly for some of the players. Nigel, anything for you in this one?
Exactly the same bet as Jack. Tottenham drawn a bet minus 112, but I thought this is Tottenham, and I think you just can't bet them. Really. They are the team that everyone we say every week that the big Asian syndicates and the big pro bettors don't like them, but they have been bet, which surprises me. That I think that's more of a negative for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, with the drop off the form, the Dyche factor as it sort of dropped off a little bit, lost their last 2 disappointingly as well, without scoring a goal. 8 of the 10 matches under Sean Dyche have seen both teams have scored no. If you want to look at that, it's so I just quite like Tottenham on the draw no bet here. Not because Tottenham have shown me anything great, but I think Forest are definitely having a drop off. And a Utrecht game on Thursday, the market doesn't like teams that travel on the Thursday, and the fact that they've got so many key players: Ryan Yates, Chris Wood. These are big players for Nottingham Forest. And if they're out, Ola Aina, another player who's a big player, if they're all out, then I think Tottenham just by default win it rather than anything glamorous, anything that I've seen that's going to make the turnaround at the Tottenham Stadium.
Yeah, look, I think it's smart play to get draw on your side just in case it is Tottenham after all. West Ham Villa is another Sunday game, 9 a.m. We've got a 1-unit play from Jack here. Villa are minus money. They play away in the Europa League as well tonight. They've got a good record after European football, unlike Forest. However, they've been blessed with home fixtures after continental action more often than not. Not this time around, though, with a trip to London. Should that worry Villa backers? And what's the one you play?
Well, it's part of my thinking. I've actually gone on goals here, over 2.5 goals at minus 122 or minus 121. Say my 1-unit play here. And yeah, I've mentioned before that they've been playing at home after their European nights, and this will be a very interesting test, a little bit of a litmus test. We talked about, can they stay in the top 4, can they keep a prolonged title challenge going? Well, this is one of the games they've now got to prove that they can be there for the long run, and I think they might well win it, but I think it's not going to be an easy one for them. I think West Ham under Nuno have shown signs of progress, but they're still yet to keep a clean sheet, so you would expect Villa, with the firepower they've got, to go and score goals there. 5 of 7 West Ham games have cashed 4 overs this season so far. And I say Villa up to 3rd in the table now. They're going to be determined not to let that surge get stopped here against a side that are in the bottom 3. 1-13 of 15 across all competitions ahead of the game after we've recorded this tonight. 1-9 of the last 10 in the league. Incredible run. And won 3 of the last 4 on the road. And all those 3 wins came with over 2.5 goals cashing. So I'm going down a similar route here. I expect them to win, therefore expect goals probably at both ends, and therefore I'm just going simple on the goals line here at over 2.5 at minus 122. I think that what Villa have got in strength in depth and attacking talent Watkins, Rodgers, Tillman's kind of started last time out in the league. When they're off the bench, obviously that brilliant late winner against Arsenal. Malen probably start tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if he scores tonight. But they've got that strength and depth and the ability to rotate and cause problems there. And for West Ham, interesting that Bowen and Wilson linked up last week to score, despite Wilson being on the bench. And Paquetá coming back gives them more thrust going forward. So I expect quite an exciting and entertaining game here. Nuno's not been able to sort out the defence, so he's got to try and get the attack going well. So over 2.5 goals, the play, -122, 1 unit.
1 unit for Jack on that one, and I think Jack's right as well. You know, West Ham might look at this as a bit of an opportunity to get some goals on the board. And maybe, you know, John O'Bett or half a goal, quarter goal start for Hammers isn't the worst. I'm not quite sure. This is a no bet for me, but Nigel, what you got?
I think -106 Villa's a trap. I hate to say that for all the Villa fans out there, and there's loads of Villa supporters, and they're going to give me barrels, but I just got a feeling -106 is a bit of a trap. We know
too short, isn't it?
We know that their data, they're outperforming their data massively, but that shows you what a great goalkeeper and what strikers who can score goals from any position can do to you. Can make your data look a bit silly. But there's something about me Villa here at minus money just doesn't. I just don't like it at all. I like 11 of the last 12 matches between these two sides. In 11 of them, both teams have scored. I like both teams to score. I've got over 2.5 again at -121. Bowen was exceptional the other day against Brighton. I thought he played really, really well. West Ham have got a bit of a revival. 3-2 against Burnley, a comeback win. 3-1 against Newcastle. You know, you can see improvements in their performance, and I think that, a Sunday game, I think this is a tough ask for Villa. It's a massive match for Villa because they've got to really get something from it, because we'll know how good their title are before Christmas, because before the New Year, they've got to play United, Chelsea away, and Aston away in their next 3 fixtures after this. But I just something about this -106 on Villa I don't like. But I do like goals. Both teams to score, yes. Over 2.5. We agree with Jack at -121.
And Nigel's likes goals in the Brentford-Leeds game, which is another Sunday fixture. This one, main game in the UK. It's 11:30 Eastern. If you're watching this stateside, Brentford are minus money here. Leeds have found a new way to play with 3 at the back, 2 up front. Seems to be working for them, but Brentford are, as we know, Nigel, are very good at home. Shocking away, and that's probably baked into the price quite a lot. You have got 1 unit riding on this one.
Yeah, Brentford were terrible last week against Tottenham. I mean, absolutely awful. I saw them play to Palace, and they were awful in that match as well. And then I saw them twice. I saw them at Arsenal as well, and they were pretty dreadful. But then when they go at home at the G-Tech, they're like a different team, a completely different team. They come out of the blocks early. That's been the trademark for Brentford since they've come into the Premier League. They smashed Burnley 3-1, Newcastle 3-1, beat Liverpool 3-2, beat Man United 3-1, all at home. They've only lost 1 match at home in the Premier League this season, and that was against Manchester City. And that was the only time that was tight. Yeah. They're a totally different side at home. And Leeds are exactly the same, the polar opposite. They're brilliant at home, and on the road, they're awful. Their last 2 matches were 3-3 against Liverpool, 3-1 against Chelsea. And then look at the road games, 3-2 against Man City, scored 2 there. Got beat by Forest, scored 1 there, got beat 3-0 by Brighton. So you've got a Leeds side that have conceded 3 goals in their last 3 matches, and have conceded at least 2 goals in their last 4 matches, against a Brentford side that have scored 3 goals in 3 of their last 3 home matches as well. And I'm really surprised that the goal line here of 2.5 is -113. I don't understand that, really. Brentford have got a striker in Thiago, who's on an absolute fire. He's even money to score any time. I think that's a decent bet as well. And at home, he scores goals. I just got a feeling here, this looks like a real heavy goal line. Look at Leeds' matches. As you look at their last 8 matches, all of them have cashed over 2.5, home and away. And Brentford at home, it's like 4 of the last 5 have all cashed over 2.5 as well. This game is a big match at the bottom of the table. I think that Brentford their home form will get them in trouble, but their road form, they look like relegation fodder. But I think this will be a real entertaining game, and I expect loads of goals. And I'm really surprised that 2.5 is -113. I thought it would be about -140. So over 2.5 goals for me in this match is a 1U pick at -113.
Yeah, I think that's a big value play. Leeds have changed the way he's going for it a little bit. He's playing 2 up top. They're scoring. They're not always winning, but we don't need them to win for this one. And yeah, 4th in the home-only table, 17th in the away-only table for Brentford. You are leaning on an anytime goal scorer play, Jack?
Yeah, you took them stats out of my mouth there, but we'll go on with other stuff. So, yeah, I've gone for Thiago as the anytime goal scorer, -103. When I last checked at the odds there, he's around that even money, I think, which is a decent price. I wanted to get Brentford on side. I looked at goals as well. So I'm on the same page there, really. Brentford are -109. They've won 5 of 7 at home. Over 1.5 Brentford goals, -109. Cashed in 5 of 7 at home. Thiago, -103. 7 goals in 7 games at home for Brentford. He's nailed on to start. He generally gets the full 90 minutes. Full of confidence on penalties. Brentford's new talisman. And Leeds' underlying data defensively supports the numbers that Nigel then reeled off as well. So, yeah, I fancy goals. I fancy Brentford probably to edge it. And I fancy, if that's the case, Thiago will be on the score sheet at least once.
Burnley Fulham Saturday 12:30. Burnley are +300. Fulham are -107. Burnley 60 feet on the spin. They need a win. If they do win this one, Nigel, they'll only be 4 points behind Fulham. Fulham minus money. Is that a trap? You've got a 1-unit play on this one.
I said last week my bets always come in the last matches of Match of the Day, the terrible matches at the end, and it's doing the 2 official bets in the last 3 matches. Yeah, I don't like Fulham here at -107. I really don't. I watched that game against Crystal Palace. They started off well. Smith Rowe looked good. They had opportunities to score. And then the last 15, 20 minutes, they looked out of their feet. I think the match against Man City took a huge amount out of them, that crazy 5-4 match. And they looked, their passing was awful. Everything about them, everything was gone in the last 15, 20 minutes. They just gave the ball away from really in tough positions, for dangerous positions for them. And they travelled to Burnley here, and this isn't going to be easy. I mean, Scott Parker is a Fulham legend. He's done well at the club, and I think he'll be pumped up to get a win here. And I think he'll see this as it's an earmarked match they've got to win if they want to stay in the Premier League. This is huge. This is, talk about atmospheres. This will be a big match. When they play the better teams at home, they know they probably can't win them, but these are the matches they've got to win. The only matches they've lost this season at home in the Premier League against Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Palace. Now, Arsenal are runaway leaders. Palace are fourth. Chelsea are probably the top 3 or top 4 in the ratings, and Liverpool are the top 4 in the ratings. So they only get beat by the best teams at home. I've got a feeling they can get something. They're 3-1 to win it on the money line, which I wouldn't put anybody off. And I just think this is a great time to play for them. Fulham have conceded 12 goals in their last 3 matches. Every single home match for Burnley this season in the Premier League has cashed under. They'd be much more entertaining on the road, but under here is -137. I'm going to go with Burnley +0.5 and get the draw on my side, which is -115. And, we talk about historically. You go back for historically. I'm not going to go back to number 1 and miss it. But Burnley are unbeaten at home against Fulham in 34 matches. The last time Fulham won it was in 1951. Now, you were at the game, weren't you, Dan? So if you can tell us what happened in that game. But I mean, I know you don't. I know data's there, statistics are there to be broken. But I think this is a perfect time to play for them. I think they're weary. They're a side that I think they could be the first team in the Premier League to sort of like just go off the pace. I've always mentioned about the manager, but I think Burnley have to get this one. This is the one match you look at Burnley, they go, right, this is out. If we win this, we're back in the game. And I think there'll be one side absolutely pumped out. They've got some key players out, Burnley. I think Kyle Walker is out for them, which
suspended,
is a bit of a blow. But I would expect I expect Scott Parker did one of his trademark G-ups to get them excited for this. And I think 3-1 is a big price on the money line, but we're going to play it safe and go 1 unit on Burnley +0.5 at -115.
We're fading Fulham, Jack. What you got?
Yeah, probably, if you ask me that question. But I was close to making this official as well, actually. But both teams to score no was my angle in. I think Burnley might well nick this to 0. But I just can't really trust Fulham at this moment in time at all. They're just that side that just seems to be a bit just meh. And, they lost 5 of their 7 on the road. But we know what Burnley struggles are, especially at home, as Nigel's pointed out there. They're like night and day as far as how they go about work at home and as far as they go about it on the road. But as you said, all games have cashed under 2.5 goals there. Both teams have scored no in 6 of the 7. And, I'll go along with that there against the Fulham side that tend to go the other way and see both teams scoring. But in this instance, I think Burnley holds sway. So both teams score no, -115 is my lean.
We've left the Monday night till last. Obviously, the live show will be tackling it in an awful lot more detail, but it is the Premier League show, so the boys have got some opinion on it. Jack, you're first up with this one. United, a minus 122. The minus money for the third straight fixture. 1-1, drawn one. The last on again. Cherries without winning 7. Problems maybe for Andoni Iraola. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I'm not getting roped into Man United again this time around, but I will go on goals. Over 3 agents helpful for me at minus 108. Man United, I thought, were really impressive against Wolves, but then that was Wolves, and how much of it was just Wolves being a complete and utter shambles? They stunk the place out, as we've already mentioned. So United looking to click in forward areas, though, that's the thing for me. Bruno, excellent, pulling the strings in that kind of deeper role, but also breaking the lines. We saw that for his first goal when he scored. That kind of weird finish, scruffy little finish there. But Cunha coming back in the side is a massive boost for them. Not only for the talent that he brings, but the fact that he has that balance with him out on the left-hand side. That means Diallo can go on the right-hand side. He's dovetailing really well with Mbomo. Obviously, before he now goes off, both of them go off to AFCON, which will be a problem they'll have to cope with after that. But the one player that really caught my eye, was great to see him back in great form, is Mason Mount. I thought he was exceptional the other night. And if he can stay fit and keep performing like that, then that will be a real boost for Manchester United and even possibly for England, although that's a strong competition to get there. But yeah, Man United only failed to score in 2 at home, only 1 clean sheet at home as well. And Bournemouth, for me, the difference for them is at home, 1.88 goals per game average. It goes completely mental when they go away from home. On the road, their games are averaging 4.29. Only 1 clean sheet, only failed to score once. So expect both goals at both ends in this one. They've conceded 13 goals in their last 6 games. And the one player that has been missing for them, as far as his contribution is concerned, he's been on the pitch, but is Semenyo. But I think this is the kind of game at Old Trafford on a Monday night where the tension's on in the UK, big open spaces that he can actually come back to some form and show what he did on the opening game of the season when they took on Liverpool. And I expect him to have a decent game in this one. But the last 5 meetings here at Old Trafford seen 21 goals, an average of 4.2 with at least 3 in all of them. So I'm going with that again. Full refund if there's exactly 3. 4 or more gets us a win at minus 108.
Love that. Plus 205 Semenyo to score at any time. And Bumo, Jallo and Mazraoui all expected to start, all going to AFCON for Manchester United, incidentally. Nigel, final word on the weekend slate for you. What are we doing? Bournemouth value here near 3-1. United back into the fold, back into the good books at minus money. What are we doing?
Man United will never be back in my good books after that performance against Everton.
And
Bournemouth are a side that you can't trust at the moment in time. Both of these times, you can't really trust the way they're playing. It's so inconsistent. Man United, you think they're back, and then they put in a terrible performance. So from a money line perspective, you can't have any strong opinion on this match. Man United minus 122. I just could not bet that at all. But agree with Jack. I put goals down. Lots of goals I expect. I think the managers like to play an open kind of match. I think this will be a good watch on Monday night. Man United were impressive, but again, Jack said it was against Wolves, so let's not get too carried away. I think over 3 was the one I come up with as well, minus 108. And I thought if you wanted the same game parlay for the American viewers who love the same game parlay, I thought both teams would score yes and over 2.5 goals. That would boost it up. I think that would be the way I would go here. I fancy goals. Wouldn't even try to attempt to have an opinion on how the match is going to go in terms of the result, but I do think goals. So both teams to score yes and over 2.5 goals. And if you want to play a bit simpler, go for that minus 108 with the assurance of 3, getting your money back as a push.
United got backed off the boards over the course of the weekend when they were on Monday night last week. We'll see how the price moves over the course of the next few days. And, of course, the boys will be previewing that particular fixture in depth on Monday. Nigel, Jack, thanks for your company. Good luck to one and all. We'll keep everyone updated via our X feeds. And that is a wrap for Betting Weekly Premier League show Matchday 16. Get your picks and their comments in on YouTube. As per usual, we're on hand over the course of the weekend to praise your selections. If you're feigning us, let us know. If you're taining us, likewise. Don't forget the live show, 11 a.m. every single midweek day. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We finally got ahead of 12,000 after what seemed an eternity. Let's kick on to the next 1,000. We very much appreciate your support. We'll be back next week for more Premier League picks from all of us. For now, though, it is goodbye.